Ons roeiers roei die wêreld in die brand en ongelukkig of gelukkig vir ons het hulle terugkom met 'n hele string medaljes onlangs by die O23 en Universiteit-speles en vanoggend het ons 3 sterre hierso, Afrigter en 2 van die roeiers. Ja, Thato Mokoena is vanoggend hier saam met ons, saam met Katherine Williams en Chloe Cresswell. Good morning to all of you.
Good morning.
It is such a privilege to speak to South Africans that just kind of make us so proud and win medals wherever you go, and it's wonderful internationally that you guys competed. Chloe, let's start with you. How important is it for South African rowing, actually as a whole, to compete at this level?
I think it's very important. We don't have a huge racing season here in South Africa, but it's really cool to go overseas and see where the standard is because the world's fast. So it's great to get in that experience, and it's a lot of fun and you learn so much.
You brought back a silver medal from the Under-23 World Championships in Poland. Congrats.
Thank
first.
you.
Thank you very much for doing that for South Africa. We're proud of you. Tell us about the race. Before we get to you, obviously you are all famous, but we're going to get to you pretty soon. Tell us, preparing for a race like this, how long? Was this like a couple of months? How long was the preparation for this?
Well, we've been training since December. More like land-based training in our own time, and then in January, February, we came together and we're training at Rudderplot Dam. So it's been a long journey of lots of training, really. But yeah, we race against each other, which is really cool, and helps to keep the standard up during training, and I think that helped a lot.
Yeah.
And that is something we spoke about earlier, is that we don't always understand how much training goes into preparing for one specific competition or race, and it's so nice that you say how hard you guys are working. Kat, you also came back with a medal. You were part of the University Games. Tell us about your race.
Yeah, I think, so obviously my partner Courtney, we were in a pair, and it took a lot of work. I think the pair was a new event for us. Generally, we were scullers, both Courts and I.
Oh, wow.
I'd been in a double for a few years. Courts had been in the scull. So it was a new change, but a good one. I think South Africa is famous for the pair and making it go fast. So when the coaches suggested it, and I think we took it on and we're quite excited to be part of the history. I think the race went really well. There were a few tough times. We were out of the boat for a little bit before the competition, actually. But it ended up coming together really well, yeah.
How does the tactics differ? Scull tactics, solo tactics, and team tactics, the pairs. What's the differences there?
Yeah, I think obviously in the single, with Chloe knowing it's obviously all on yourself. With Courts and I, we had to define the roles quite clearly. Court's role was backing up and providing the power in the boat more, and backing up my rhythm, making the calls, making the decisions through the race. And then my role was to set up the rhythm so that it would get us consistently down. And yeah, I think I also like to evaluate the field a little bit to see what moves I have to make. But generally that goes to Courts, and I just have to set up a good rhythm. Yeah.
Nice.
Now, Thato, you are a coach, and let's start about, we obviously often speak about smaller sports that don't necessarily get enough attention in South Africa. Sadly, yes, and we always give a lot of attention to all our, rugby, cricket, soccer, kind of, that's what we focus on, and a sport like this is just as important. The athletes work just as hard. How proud does it make you as a coach to see that our rowers are doing so well?
No, I think extremely proud. It's always amazing to work with such talented and hardworking people, and we don't really get into rowing for the glitz and glamour. We get into it for the passion, and rowing South Africa and South Africa as a whole with the sports provides that platform, so it's really cool.
We've got such a lovely base of talent in South Africa for rowing specifically, and like Jennifer said, but people don't realize how deep the depth is. What makes you excited about the future in South Africa, specifically in South African rowing?
Yeah, I think the future is always bright because our schooling system is very strong. We have quite a few good schools. I know not a lot of people know about rowing, but within the school system we do have a lot of depth, and I think the future is bright. We always bring back medals at the Olympics, so it's always cool to know that this is a future generation now.
Chloe, how important is it also at universities like Tuks or UCT or Stellenbosch to have really strong rowing programs to help support the sport?
I think it's essential because overseas you see there's a huge club systems, whereas in South Africa we have the school system and the university system. There's no club system. There are masters clubs, but the young adults rowing, it's all coming out of the university. So the university programs are very important to keep racing happening after school.
And when it comes to practice camps or these kind of things, what do we do in South Africa? Do you guys get together in a camp from all across the country and train together, or are there separate systems running throughout the country?
I think it's a bit of both. Kat in her university games team, they had some Stellenbosch athletes, also a UCT athlete, and then they all joined together in Zanin in Limpopo, and then we do a training camp down there. They have a really nice dam there with some really good conditions for rowing, so it's always a treat to row down there.
Yeah.
Kat, tell us about the training. So Chloe mentioned earlier, I mean, the training happens over a couple of months, but day-to-day training and conditioning, what does that take? Is it strength work? Is it a lot of time in the water? Is it looking at what you guys eat? How do you go about your whole training regime?
Yeah, so I think it's a lot of cross-training. So let's say on a Monday, we would start with a row in the morning or an ergo, the rowing machine, and then gym in the midday, and then a row in the afternoon. So it would be a 3-session day, but typically it's a 2-session day, sometimes with a run or a cycle, but generally a row every day just to get the long miles in. You'd probably be on the water for 2 hours, and then a shorter one in the afternoon with a run and all that. But trying to be versed athletes in the whole put together piece. So yeah.
At the university games now, what surprised you? Were there certain things that you thought, my goodness, I didn't expect that, or this happened differently?
I think it was actually how competitive the field was.
Yeah.
I think I've been competing on a senior level for a while, for the last 2 years, and the World University Games was to kind of bring back the love and enjoyment to the sport, but it was still a very competitive field. The girls who won, the Lithuanians, have been competing against her since, in the same events since 2018. So, yeah, I think the field was actually very competitive, and it kind of shocked me, and it was cool to see such a high standard still with the university scene. Yeah.
Thato, what is your dream for rowing in South Africa? Where do you want it to go?
Well, I think more schools joining, more universities competing as well, and for us to have a lot more athletes. Maybe in Pretoria, a lot more Afrikaans people also joining the sport. Because I think we do have a big culture and talent within South Africa, so I think we could definitely grow the sport a lot more, and we hopefully will be able to do that so that we can compete with the likes of Great Britain, Italy, Germany, and all of that.
Are those the kind of countries, even if you look at senior levels, Olympics, are those kind of the countries that stand out when it comes to rowing?
Yeah, and the Dutch.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Is it something that you see both at the under-23 and the university games now? Were those the teams that kind of stood out and the same teams stand out at Olympics? Do they correlate, or are there some surprises actually?
Few surprises. I think it depends on who they send. With World University Games, Lithuania was very strong.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the standout ones generally is GB and the Dutch.
Germany, very strong also in the juniors. So it does differ, but if we look at it as a whole,
yes.
Great Britain and them usually translated well from juniors to seniors.
Has that got to do with programs that they kind of have in place from school level? You mentioned clubs that they have in the States, for example. Has that got to do with their programs that they get to filter through all the way up?
Yeah, I think both that and the transition between how many athletes they have from school to senior. If you look at one part of the river in the Thames has 32 clubs, We probably have 32 clubs in the country.
Okay.
So it's a big difference.
Yes.
So I think the numbers translating from school to senior is similar. It's just that they have a bigger pool to deal with.
Chloe, next target, under 23 championships. Was this now? Now what's the next one?
I'm not entirely sure. In the immediate future, we have the university's boat race, which is in September. So Kat and I will be setting our sights on that.
Nice.
But as for rowing in the future, I'm still deciding what's going to happen. I've just finished so I'm too old to compete at under 23s from next year. So if I were to continue, I would be on a senior level. So I'd have to start getting a lot stronger.
Kat, for you?
Yeah, senior world champs would be the next thing. There's a few things to sort out before we head there, but yeah, senior world champs, and then hopefully in 3 years the games.
Nice. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Again, congratulations to both of you on the medals that you brought back home and for making us proud. And may your journey ahead to be full of success. And thank you for making us South Africans proud.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Thato, thank you so much for what you do. You know, from coaching and promoting the sport, I think it is so important. It's been lovely having all three of you here this morning.
Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Jy sien dan nou, ons kan al ons sporte al hoe meer ondersteun. Daar's so baie van hulle. Bly net waar jy is, ons is nou weer terug.